October jobs report, U.S. job growth shows signs of slowdown. As the world burns and Joe bumbles around Washington, the labor market cooled with 150,000 jobs added in October, a number that was lower than expected. And there's this headline from our friends over at Breitbart. It says, report, Democrats want to throw Bidenomics into the dumpster. Even Democrats having serious remorse over Sleepy Joe's plan to keep our economy afloat after polling shows just 14% of voters say Joe Biden has made them better off. 14% that probably work for him in the federal government. Joining me now with reaction is Linda McMahon. She is the chair of the America First Policy Institute and served in President Trump's cabinet as the 25th administrator of the U.S. Small Business Administration. Linda, I remember actually going to an event that the president put on for you in the White House, put on with you. You led it in the White House. And I remember sitting there and listening to you talk about how President Trump's policies that you worked so hard on were really making a big difference in the lives of Americans and especially American children. And how hard is it to watch what Joe Biden has done? And how surprised are you that it's taken him such really a short period of time, not just to dismantle all of the good work that you and President Trump did together, but really to put us in shambles?
It's heartbreaking. And he did it like that.
Yeah.
I mean, 3 years has really passed by quickly. I'm just worried about we've still got a year to go. You know, I was at the Small Business Administration, and there hasn't been a president in a long time that was so supportive of small businesses as Donald Trump. You know, they are the backbone of our economy and of our nation, and his policy of tax reduction, of regulatory reform, and all of that led to, you know, prosperity and growth of small businesses. And now look what we're looking at. You know, inflation, though it cooled a little bit, still much higher than when he left office. And if you talk to moms and dads that are going to the grocery store, going to the gas station, they're just seeing costs continuing to go up. There was a young woman yesterday, actually was doing my makeup yesterday, and she said to me, she said, you know, I go to the grocery store and it's $300 to get out of the grocery store every week. She said it used to be $175, maybe $200. She said, but it's $300. And she said, that's just really impactful in my pocketbook. So that's how it's affecting Americans. And we look, just the lead-in story that you were showing, you know, with these, you know, these juveniles, and it just speaks to crime. Going up. You know, we look what's happening, you know, in the retail stores where people are just wantonly going in and stealing. And the owners of the stores say, don't engage with the people coming in. People aren't being arrested. There's no accountability for it. It's just really a downward spiral, and it's so sad. You know, I don't know about you. I liked it under the Trump administration because we had the greatest economy going in the world. Taxes were low, businesses were growing. You know, it was just it was a wonderful time, you know, to be. So yes, it breaks my heart to see those policies just wiped out.
Linda, let me ask you, this is David Brody in D.C. Sorry to interrupt your couch talk down there, but let me ask you a little bit about what Joe Biden can really, I know he can do a lot more damage, but how do you start to reverse some of this? What's kind of on the top of the list here? Because, you know, the Biden administration always likes to talk about GDP and 4.9%, and it's at a healthy clip. And as you've pointed out, the disconnect between those official numbers and what Americans are experiencing is totally different. So what do you do? How do you go about fixing the chaos other than removing him from 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue?
Well, honestly, you know, one of the first things I would say is let's make the Trump tax cuts permanent. I mean, they were working, but what we've seen already is some of those parts of the tax cut bill, you know, have started to expire, like small businesses. One of the things that was really driving growth with small businesses was that part of the bill that allowed small businesses to deduct in the year in which they bought a piece of equipment or made a capital investment. They could deduct the entire amount that year. And I talked to so many businesses, and I tell this story often. There was a baker outside of Boston who said, you know what, I'm going to take this opportunity to buy a new oven. He baked bread, but I mean, he had a huge bakery. And these ovens cost about $1 million. He said, but I'm going to be able to buy it. I've already got the contracts lined up for the business, but I can write it all off. Now I can do it. you're not hearing small businesses say that anymore. So we made the tax cuts permanent. President Trump said for every new regulation you add, you 2 have to go away, and it wound up being 8 went away.
Yeah.
I mean, at SBA, we actually got rid of 10 regulations for each new one, and those things would just be easy to put back in place, and it would just make such a big difference.
Well, what would it take to make them permanent so that a president couldn't come along like Joe Biden and dismantle them as he did?
Well, that's Congress. Congress made.
It would have to be Congress.
Yeah,
and why didn't the Trump administration have Congress put that before Congress?
Well, I think they did. They pushed very hard.
Yeah.
So some of the tax proposals were made permanent, some were not. But we'll see the rest of the Tax Cut and Jobs Act expire in 2025. Tax rates will go back up again. Now, the part that was permanent was the business reduction, which does continue to make us competitive in the world, which is a good thing.
Well, probably everyone thought, well, they're working so well, of course no one's going to dismantle them, but we didn't know that.
Yeah, you don't think
someone
about
would be so vicious.
No, because when you've got to delve into it and see that these things are going to expire, and you see small businesses start their optimism level. We just got our report out this week that businesses are not optimistic about where the future is going to be, and I think it's now 22 months that optimism index has continued to either stay the same or falling. And under Trump, it was just rising and rising and rising. It was the policy that Trump put in place.
Yeah.
Linda, we have 30 seconds or so, but I'm just curious your experience with the deep state in Washington as SBA administrator. I mean, we always talk about the DOJ and the FBI, but you've got some alphabet soup, and you're in the SBA as well. Well, what did you see in Washington? How hard was it to kind of dismantle, and what was your experience like?
My experience at SBA really was a very pleasant experience. It's a smaller agency. I had the ability to go in, and we rebranded. We did a lot of things out of the box, with our marketing strategy. I traveled to all 50 states, all 68 district offices, visited small businesses on the ground. I did press conferences, and I think we really got a lot of momentum going at SBA that I'm really proud of, and I enjoyed my tenure there very much. And President Trump was so supportive of small businesses and really was very inclusive in taking me with him on different appearances that he went to, because he understood small businesses were the backbone of the economy. Really so supportive.
Would you take that job again?
Yeah, I think it's a great job. I really do think it's a great job, for anyone.
And when you were so wildly successful, it would make perfect sense for him to.
Well, I enjoyed it very much, but there are always other things to do as well.
That's right.